Malls are not dead, Gen X. Not if you do it this way. Stick around, let's talk about it.
All I need are some tasty waves, a cool buzz, and I'm fine.
What's up, everybody? It's Graham. Welcome back to the channel, back with another video. Today, we're going to talk about something that us Gen Xers love a lot. Lots of fond memories, and that is the old shopping mall. There's a lot of videos on YouTube, because there's a lot of malls out there, that are what we call dead malls. A lot of them do exist, and unfortunately, uh, it's sad to see because, I guess you had to be in them in the 80s the way that they were to maybe understand it and have a fondness for them the way that we do. The younger generation might not, feel the same way. But went back down my hometown of Corpus. I go every month for First Friday, and I wanted to stop by one of the malls that are there in town. Now, those of us from Corpus, we know this already, but most of my viewers are not from Corpus. So I'm going to educate you a little bit. Stick with me, bear with me. We got some good stuff to go over today. So there was the original mall in Corpus Christi was called Sunrise Mall, and very beautiful mall. And then sometime later, they built Padre Staples Mall, 1 block away, literally. One's on Airline, and then the other's on Staples, and they are blocks that butt up against one another. So Padre Staples was the new boy in town. They came out and made a new mall, and they were competing against each other for decades. Over the years, Sunrise Mall got, I guess, a little outdated, and then they had some very smart investors that winded up buying Padre Staples Mall and turning it into what is now La Palmera Mall. I'm going to get into that one towards the end of the video, but I wanted to go into, and I'll get into why they were able to succeed and why they are going to be around for many, many more years, while unfortunately the Sunrise Mall is not. Sunrise Mall has been closed since I think 2018 or 2019. It's been vacant. And those of you, if you don't know, now you know. This mall was featured in the 80s movie The Legend of Billie Jean, when she goes down the escalators in that little mall scene that I'll have playing up next to me. I'm not going to have the words on because I don't want to get copyrighted. I don't know what the word is. But it's a famous scene. Movie was filmed in Corpus Christi, one of the only ones, right? But it was filmed in Corpus Christi in that mall. And those of us in the 70s and 80s growing up in Corpus, that was the mall. Now, when Padre Staples Mall was built, it was the newer mall. It was supposed to be a little bit fresher. But I think those of us from Corpus would agree that architecturally, Sunrise Mall had them beat. They had these huge dome skylights. They had lots of different stairways with fountains and waterfalls, trees everywhere. Higher ceilings. It just overall, to me, architecturally was a lot better mall. Then Padre Staples came around not too long afterwards, so it's not that it was that much more high tech. To me, I think it seemed a little bit smaller. So they were competing against one another. One had Sears, the other had J.C. Penney, or one had Montgomery Ward's, and the other had Sears. So they competed against one another. So when I was there this week, and I said, let's go by La Palmera Mall, because my wife and our friends Mike and Tammy, shout out, didn't really believe me how packed this mall was, because I'd been in it once before after they did the remodel. And so we went and saw that, which I'll show you some footage at the end. But I said, hey, let's go over to Sunrise Mall, because you can literally see the sign from La Palmera Mall. You can see the Sunrise Mall. I knew it had already been closed down. And then, of course, we drove by and it's now being torn down. So since I don't live there anymore, this has been going on now for about, several months. So I guess I hadn't been paying much attention to it. It was very sad to see. I'm going to be popping up a bunch of pictures across the screen just to kind of show you of what it was like. And again, those of you from Corpus, if you know what I'm talking about, drop a comment and let me know. It's just very sad to see. It could have been saved, and I'll get into that here in a little bit, as how it could have been saved. But it's just sad to see that it's being torn down. I think that it wasn't dilapidated to the point to where it was moldy or anything like that. I just think the owner didn't know what to do with it, ended up selling it to some investors out of Oklahoma who are now in the process of tearing it down. Interesting thing with malls is they're multi-use. So even though you have the main mall, you had where later on they built, I think, a Mervyn's and some other buildings, outlayers that are connected to the mall, but they were their own separate entities. So technically, the people who own the mall now don't own those buildings, which is why those businesses are still, like, one's a gym and one's a furniture store. There's another area, I think the old Sears area is a Eddie's pool hall, and so those are going to remain. So supposedly they're going to build, these new investors are going to build like a 20 plus story high rise apartment with some shops and stuff right there in the middle. This is going to be very interesting to see. But again, sad that it's happening, because again, with this new formula, so it could save malls. So if you have some quote unquote dead malls in your area of town, this might be something to get with your city to get them to consider, because I think this is what ultimately saved Padre Staples Mall turning into La Palmera Mall and not the Sunrise Mall. Cool thing is while I was there getting some footage of the demolition, met another young man named Ramsey Schaefer. I'm going to put his screenshot up on the screen, and he's another YouTuber with quite a few subscribers, different type of channel, different type of content. I'll drop a link in the description for you to go check out his channel, show him some love. But it was cool. He was there with his mom, and of course, she's a couple years younger than me. It was just, we were just sitting there going down memory lane about the fun stuff that we did in that mall. And so again, sad to see. Don't know. I was talking to my oldest. He's like, "Good. It's about time they tear that thing down. It was an eyesore." But again, somebody that grew up in that mall, architecturally, it should have been Padre Staples that was tore down if the owner of Sunrise Mall would have done what the investors did for La Palmera. So getting into that, I'm going to throw up some footage of going into the mall. It's a great mall, beautiful mall. After they did the remodel, so the genius of what they did is, with where the mall sits there in Corpus, it's on a major highway, SPID, South Padre Island Drive. And across the street from those malls, across the highway from those malls, is all your national chain restaurants. So you've got, pretty much everyone you can think about that sit on that side. So what they did is they bought the Padre Staples Mall, remodeled it, moved the food court from upstairs, moved it to the downstairs, what I would call the main entry, main lobby way. And I've got some pictures up here, a little video where this Great American Cookie is at now. Used to be the food court. And it's funny, being an adult going through the mall, it seems so much smaller than it did when I was a kid. And to think that used to be the food court up there, and it's really small. So they were, first of all, smart by moving the food court downstairs. It's probably 4 times the size now, and it's right when you go in there. So right when you walk in the mall, you've got all of your food court right around you. They got this beautiful 2-story tubular fish tank that's there, that's absolutely beautiful, and it's just vibrant. This place is always packed. But the genius with the investors that bought that mall is they went and they got other national restaurant chains that weren't yet in Corpus to build their restaurants right there in the parking lot, what technically used to be the parking lot. So you have a PF Chang's there. You have a Cheesecake Factory, and then a Texas Steakhouse, or maybe it's Longhorn Steakhouse, something like that sits there. So technically, that would have been the parking lot back in the day, and then you walk into the mall. So they were able to set those up right in front of it, kind of added this new facade to the mall, as if they were added on to the mall, but yet they technically they don't really connect. They just kind of sit right in front of it. Now they have valet parking. And then again, they completely remodeled and revamped the interior of the mall. Again, walking around, kind of showing y'all all around the mall. To me, it's just not as aesthetically pleasing architecturally as the Sunrise Mall, but yet everything is vibrant. Everything is new. It's colorful. First thing I went to is I needed some new Vans. It's pretty much what I wear all the time. So they happen to have a van store, and walked up. Great sales lady that was in there. I say lady, kid, but she was awesome, and picked me out a couple new pairs of Vans. and then continued to, my wife went to Bath and Body Works and got some stuff from there, and just continued to walk around checking it out. And that's where I'm saying that Sunrise Mall owner did not have uh, he just didn't have the vision to see that, because if he would have, or he or her or that entity that owned that mall, in other words, there's only so many national chains to go around, um, restaurant wise. So there's not that many out there that the city didn't already have. So by them getting those big chains and then building them out front, remodeling it, brought this new vitality. It's crazy. I mean, Corpus takes a hit because of, the type of town it is. I love the town, but I technically love the downtown area, which I'll probably be moving there at some point in time. And then so on the south side of Corpus is where the malls are at, and it's the growing side, the newer side. But it's kind of funny. Like, is there really not that much to do in Corpus that the mall is packed? I don't know. There's a lot of stuff to do there, but it is insane if you go by there on a Friday or a Saturday night. We drove through on a Saturday afternoon and it was already packed. It's awesome to see a mall in 2024 that's packed. Then you go inside and you see how vibrant it is. You'll see in the videos, you'll see all the people that were there. Again, that's where they hit the nail on the head with this. And I would say for any of these other quote unquote dead malls, I mean, we've actually still got some really good malls in San Antonio. North Star Mall, I would say the old school indoor mall that still does really, really well. And then you have La Cantera Mall, which is an outdoor mall, indoor outdoor mall. It's way on the other side of town, not necessarily my jam, because when it's 105, 110 degrees outside, I don't like to sit outside and walk around. I want to be inside and air conditioned. The North Star Mall is more like the Pottery Staples and the Sunrise Mall, but updated and stuff like that. So it's very, very nice. So think back, guys, when you were young, some of the things that you did at the mall. I mean, we spent all day there. As a teenager, when I was able to drive myself to the malls, me and my buddies would sit at the food court for hours. We'd go over to the movie theater, watch some movies, walk around, and just shoot the shit. I mean, a lot of us weren't up to any good, but that was the place to meet, right? I mean, that's where we went and we hung out. That was our social media, right? That's where we got the gossip, or just got to hang out and talk with friends, find out stuff, with the parties that were going on, who's going to meet up here, some of the chicks that we liked. If their parents didn't necessarily like me, then it was always easy for them to say, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my girlfriends at the mall. And then we would just meet up, right? Because it's a big place to meet, and you're not going to get caught by the parents. But it's just a place that I don't know if we can ever get back to that, even though La Palmera Mall is kicking ass. Does the younger generation do it that way? I mean, I didn't see a ton of teenage kids there like back in the day. So I don't know if you have any of the younger millennials or the older Gen Z, or even young Gen Z that happen to be watching this, like my son's age, my youngest son's age. Would that be something that you do? Would you like to go to hang out at a mall and just sit and shoot the shit with your friends, meet up with a bunch of your friends, bunch of your girlfriends, eat at the food court, watch a movie, buy some stuff, get a cup of coffee, go to the Great American Cookie Company, get some cookies, or a waffle cone, or whatever. It's just endless at a mall. I don't know. It holds a certain nostalgia in my heart, just how it is, because that's how it was back then. And, but yeah, what are your thoughts? How do you view it? Do you have any dead malls in your area of the world? And then, Glenn, if you're watching from overseas, do y'all have malls like that? In England, do you have them in Eastern Europe? Do they exist? Or is that kind of an American thing? That would be good to know. Any of you guys that are living around the world, are shopping malls like this an American thing, or do they exist in other parts of the world at this scale? Because I believe I did see one in Prague on a video that's pretty nice, but I just don't know if that's commonplace or if that's new. So anyway, drop a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you think. And if you stuck around this long, once again, please consider liking the video by giving it a thumbs up, subscribing to the channel, and hitting that bell to be notified of future videos. And with that said, I appreciate you. Thank you. And we'll see you on the next video.